everyone! While we're here, we're back, and today we're doing another anti-MLM video, and for this video we will be talking about Scentsy. Scentsy is one of the MLMs that I do enjoy talking about because pretty much every time I do a Scentsy video, they make it so blatantly obvious that recruitment is the main essential way of how they make money in this business. Which, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the honesty. But for me, I'm just like, how are they saying this and not realizing what they're saying? Like, you are saying you have to recruit in order to make money. What does that sound like? Like, yes, you have a product, but when you are saying recruitment is the main way that you make money and how you are successful, doesn't that sound like a certain scheme shaped like a certain shape? But anyways, the video we will be reacting to is all about onboarding new team members. So people who have just been recruited into the business, what the uplines need to do for those team members, the things they should say, do, mention, highlight, all of that, because again, it's all about recruitment and how to go about talking to people who have just joined this business. And this video will have a little bit of snarkiness from our hosts, so I think you guys will enjoy that. So if at any point you do enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really enjoy it, please subscribe. Both of those things really help out my channel. Make sure to check out my description below for all my fun links. And with all of that said, let's get started.
So welcome everybody who has shown up. We are proud of you for showing up. Please do encourage your teammates to show up. You're a leader. You're leading by example by being here. Encourage your people, okay? Whatever that looks like for you. If you're super nice about it, then you go for it if that works for you. If you're like, what are y'all doing? Stop being in my inbox when you can't show up to a meeting and you just have to be honest, then you go for it, okay? You know your people best. So we are going to talk tonight, new teaming, now what? And we're going to talk about onboarding and onboarding systems and leading the way, okay? But before we get into that, we're going to put our hearing it with love ears on. That's what we're going to call it. We're hearing it with love, okay? And it's probably not even to any of you guys because you're here and you're the 1%. And that is the frustrating part, is because when we say these things, it's going to people who most likely know. But for those who catch the recording and missed out, or those who are just sleeping and not quite awake for this new catalog, it's going to be for you, okay? When we do things like...
Very interesting take to be like, those of you who are here, like, you're clearly the best, you are the 1%, you already know the ins and outs, this is for the people who don't show up. But it's like, isn't the whole point of you recording these calls is so that people can go back and watch them? Like, I guess I would understand if they were doing like a Q&A sort of thing, but if this is just information that they are telling people and then people who are in Scentsy can then later view, why do they have to be there actively in person? What is sitting on this call for 30 minutes, an hour, realistically, like, what is the difference between being there live and watching the recording later? Like, I don't think there is much of a difference.
Class as in session, that is not something that we have to do. We choose to do things like that because it's for the betterment of our group and our people. And it takes a lot of pressure really off of you guys as leaders. If you can encourage your people to get in those groups, you have to do less training. Like, hello, okay? We got to work smarter, not harder, all right? And with that being said, if you can be at those meetings, if you're not working or you're not sick or you're not like caught up in something, then yeah, we do have an expectation that leaders would be there if they're telling their people to be there, right? Some of it is things that you were like, I've already heard this 1,000,001 times, but we all know that we hear things differently at different stages in our business. I had pages of notes from each presenter.
Right, but if it's this, and it is the exact same information retold over and over and over and over and over again. So I would understand being a part of this, not wanting to be a part of every single call, hearing the same information over and over and over and over again, but yet they are told to show up for these calls because it's showing up for your business, it's showing your downlines, like, that you care about them by showing up for these calls and rehearing the information that you have heard over and over again. And maybe one time somebody will say something slightly different that you haven't heard before. But again, you can hear that by just listening to these calls in the future. Because again, they record these and they put them out online. So I don't understand the absolute, you have to be there at that time, and then you have to be there for every single meeting, hearing the information on repeat over and over again. I mean, I guess it's like a brainwash tactic, like to keep the people who are higher up, or at least who have people underneath them in the MLM, keep them, brainwashed and staying in, and keep them motivated in a way. I don't know. This would absolutely drive me crazy if I was told to be a part of these calls all week long, each and every month, and just rehearing the same information told by maybe somebody different that week. Oh my God.
Okay, so it is important even to remind you of little things and be like, dang, I forgot that's what it's like when you first sign up. Let me go back and make sure I'm taking care of my people in the right way. Okay, but taking advantage of those things and what's given to you is extremely important. And then holding your people accountable. I'll say that. Not even, hey, you should really go to this. When they come back and they ask you a question about PRV or partying, well, were you on classes in session? That's not rude, because people took out their time and their energy to plan that, right? So they're coming at you and you're like, why is she asking me that? She could literally go look it up. Literally, are you in class in session? That's all you have to ask.
That is rude. That is rude. Because when it is an opportunity call, let's say, or even like a team call in the very beginning, a lot of times they say, we are here for you. We are here to answer your questions. We are a team. We are a family. We will answer your questions. And then once you are in the MLM, like really in the MLM, and you have a question, it's like, well, you didn't show up to class today, or you could get the information somewhere else if you had just shown up. So shame them for their question. Like, they are told that if they have any questions, if they ever need anything, to go to their upline and their upline will answer for them. But then when they do go to their upline, they are talked down to and made to feel dumb for not being a part of something. Maybe they are busy. Maybe they just got started in something, this new thing being the MLM. They are unsure because they don't feel comfortable maybe asking in these calls, or maybe they don't want to sit there and hopefully maybe get the answer in this call that's 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours long. I don't blame them when they can just go to their upline, who should have the answers. They're the upline. They should know everything, and they could just give you a quick answer for your question. It is rude to just be like, well, if you were in class today, you would have found out. Like, we're not in school. We're not children. You do not talk to us like that. Or people who are in MLMs like that. Like, yes, people shouldn't join MLMs, but they also shouldn't be talked down to once they do join the MLM. Like, they are doing you a favor by joining the MLM, not the other way around.
Because there's a whole PRV training right there, right? And we say this with all the love in our heart. I promise it's always for your good. It's never to be nasty, but it does get frustrating as a leader.
It's never to get nasty, but I'm going to go back just a little bit.
I promise it's always for your good. It's never to be nasty, but it does get frustrating as a leader. And I even sat here and we're like, what are we supposed to even talk about on the leaders meeting tonight? What are we supposed to talk about with our teams? Because like we literally gave everybody everything. Like it was all there last month. So what?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what do you make up each and every week that you have to do these calls? Because it is just becoming so redundant. So the whole point of this team call is to tell people to join team calls, but yet it's going to be redundant and they have nothing to say? That's not a good sales tactic to get people to want to be a part of these calls, which I think is the point of doing this call, is to get people involved in being a part of the calls. At least I think that's what's going on, is that the point so far that I'm getting from this is that it is a call all about making sure that you and the people below you are a part of calls that are redundant because they are redundant. Interesting.
What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to help them when they're not there helping themselves, right? And they're all up on YouTube. So take the time to watch those. They're not as long as Guide to Growth. Take the time to watch those, see what you can implement in your business, okay? You guys are leaders. We talked about knowing the way, showing the way, what that looks like before. If you're like, man, my PRV sucks, mine right now. Guess what I did today? I listened to 2 PRV trainings. One of them was finishing Mindy's from the boss up and taking notes and implementing and being like, dang, okay, yes, everybody can learn from something, but stop sitting there in your sucky parts of your business and accepting it for what it is. Go do something different, or your check is not going to change. You're not going to grow. Your business is going to fall apart. You have to have problem solving thinking. Okay. My PRV sucks. Talking to all these people about parties. What is going on? Right. I know it's because I didn't do relationships around Christmas. I was busy visiting my family. That's why I know that. I'm aware of this.
So the reason why you have bad sales right now is because you chose to not work over Christmas, which makes perfect sense to me. A lot of people don't work around holidays, and now you are suffering for not working during the holidays and spending time with your family. Am I understanding that right? Like, how you're able to say that out loud and think that that sounds okay, that because you were not connecting with people around Christmas, which, like, leave those people alone as well. Like, don't try and sell them an MLM around Christmas time or become fake friends with them around Christmas time so that months later in March, April, May, you can now take advantage of those people because you're hoping that they now need money and they want to start this as a business, and you can tell them, oh, I have all the answers for you. But then they join and you get mad at them when they ask questions about the business, which makes perfect sense to me. People would ask questions. You claim to be a family, you claim to be a team, you claim to be supportive of everyone that joins, you're here to help, but then the moment that people do come to you and ask for help, you're annoyed at that aspect of running your own business. Technically, the people below you would be employees, so to speak. Like, if you are an upline, you have a little more, potentially, information than people who are obviously just joining, even though the people who are below you are essentially your boss because, you know, they control how much money you make, even though you claim you're the CEO boss babe. Anyways, but you have more information than they do. They are new, they are the new employees, and obviously you would go to somebody who has been in the business a little bit longer than you to ask questions. And yes, you do these team calls in order to guide the new people so that it has all the information that they can get in these calls. But maybe they don't have the time to sit and watch these calls and take notes. So it's a lot simpler to be like, hey, these people say I can reach out to them. They say we're a family. They say we're a team. They say they have my back. All of that. I will just go to them and ask them personally, and then, you know, we can have it back and forth, and it would come off a lot easier to do that than sitting through a 45-minute call hoping to get the answer there. So it just is very interesting that these people claim to be a part of a team and a family, but then the moment that somebody has a question, they're annoyed.
Now I have to fix it, right? But part of that is showing up to trainings and leading by example. Your people are literally watching you. And when they see that your name isn't on there, but you said, hey, you should show up, you look like a fool. Boo-boo the fool. Okay, that's what you look like. Just gonna be real honest. All right. If you expect your people to be there, then you should show up too. If you don't have passion, they won't have passion. You don't show up, they don't show up. Then you're sitting on a team meeting like, well, only one person showed up. Well, I wonder why, honey. Okay.
Having to force yourself to sit through weekly redundant calls shows that you are there as the ultimate business boss babe. Like, I don't blame people for not wanting to show up. And yeah, if the information is for new teammates, why would an upline join? Be like, hey, this is really good information. They can tell you all about it. They can answer your calls in the live. I've already heard this information. I don't see a need. If you have questions afterwards, I am happy to help. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I'm not going to sit through and hear the same information for the 112th time just to show up. show up. I guess you could like technically log in and not pay attention and it would kind of look good. But again, whenever they run these calls, it is from all over the country. Like maybe somebody on the East Coast is having it at 5 o'clock, so it's happening at 2 o'clock on the West Coast, and that person's working a traditional job. They can't be there, but yet they're told, oh, you didn't show up, so it looks like you don't care about your business. Yet they honestly could not show up. Or even if you, like people on the West Coast, who maybe they have an 8 p.m. call. That means people on the East Coast have to be up at 11 o'clock p.m. to just be a part of something that they've heard over and over and over again. It's like, no, I'm sleeping. I'm not doing that. I'm not showing up. I'm not putting myself out so that I can sit on a call hearing the most redundant information so that I can appear like I care about my business in that way.
We got to think. We have to think. All right. So again, say that with love. We want you to be your best selves because we want your businesses to be the best that they can be for you, wherever that is for you. So anyways, again, this is probably falling on the wrong people's ears, but hold your people accountable. Okay. If they don't like it, they won't show up anyways. What did you just lose? Right. Okay. And if they didn't like it and they're really offended, I promise you next year, they probably won't be around anyways. So let's focus on those who actually want to be here and are going to show up and do the work. Okay. Okay, I love you guys. I say that with love in my heart.
It's the condescending, like when you have to keep saying, oh, but it's because I love you. I'm only saying all this because I love you. It doesn't come off like you love them. When you say it like that, like when you say all this, like clearly like you're getting something off your chest, you're clearly annoyed, but then saying, oh, but I mean it with love. It comes off fake. And it is fake, and we can see it so plain and so clearly. At least I do. I'm sure many of you do. Like, it just comes off gross, and it's like, I don't believe you. To be like, I'm only telling you this because I love you. Nobody talks like that. Why are you doing that?
You guys are the best. Okay, time for announcements.
Because everything she said is true. And I put it in the comments. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once right now. I put it in the comments, but we have so many people in our company reach out to us about the programs that we put together and just say like, thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for sharing, because my leader, my director, my SD, my SSD doesn't ever give me anything. I don't even know if she's still doing this. So again, it's falling on deaf ears because the people that, I'm hoping that everyone here has at least watched some of it. But it was also in the comments. That's going to be part of my coaching now. Like if you haven't watched the entire series, because they run between 30 and 45 minutes piece. If you haven't watched that series yet, you have to invest in yourself before I start spending time to do that. So
watching a call is investing in yourself, and you won't talk to them or help them unless they've sat and watched a 30 or 45-minute call. Like, it's one thing to do that when you're at certain jobs. Like, obviously you have to watch certain calls, like if it's like a safety call or just like new information. But the difference is you're getting paid to watch those calls. When it comes to an MLM, you are doing all this in your free time. You are watching these calls completely in your free time without getting paid for it. And your upline, at least in this specific team, is telling you, I won't even help you unless you invest in yourself and sit and watch a 30 or 45-minute call. And then what, is she going to quiz you on this information? Like, how will she know one way or the other, like, if you did watch it? Like, could you just lie and say, like, yeah, I totally watched it. Now will you answer a question that I have? And it's like, well, you would have got the information inside. Did you take notes? It's like, this isn't school. This isn't school. They paid, I guess some of you pay to go to school, but at least like you truly get something out of school versus continuously putting money into an MLM and the only information you get is, hey, recruit more people. That's the end of, that's how you graduate. That's the information you need. Hey, recruit more.
So also wanted to mention the join special this month. Y'all know that we have that going on. And we already have 53 new teamies. halfway through the month, 53 added to our group. So that's amazing. So that is why we chose the topic tonight. We have talked about onboarding a lot before. We have shared our systems that we use. All of those systems, none of them were homemade. They were literally taken from someone else and made to ourselves. And I just want to be real transparent about that.
Yes, at least you are very honest about that. We didn't make this up. We took this from somebody else, which is exactly what happens in every MLM. It's like people will leave Scentsy, let's say, and join one of the newer MLMs. They just take the systems that they believe to work, at least somewhat kind of, and they do the exact same thing in that MLM, because the end result is, as long as you recruit people, you get money from their sales. And then if those people recruit people, you also get money from those people's sales, and so on and so forth. And then sometimes there'll be bonuses if people below you recruit up to a certain number of people or hit a certain rank. Like, again, you as a person who recruited people get a bonus for people underneath you recruiting and ranking up. How that makes sense, I don't quite know. It should be the person. I know that they will give that person a bonus maybe if they hit rank at a certain point. But still, why is it the person above you gets any sort of money for you hitting a certain rank in a certain amount of time? Is it because it's all about recruiting and it's, a way to hold people accountable to recruit more and to stay in the business? Probably.
Because I don't think there's not much that we have had to recreate the wheel on. And y'all know that I say that a lot, because there's no reason that you should ever feel like you don't have a starting point. So take what someone else is doing and make it your own. Okay.
I mean, she's right. I got no other comment.
But let's talk about onboarding. So who has sponsored someone this month? How many people in here have sponsored someone this month? I know that it is rough out there. I'm not even going to lie. Okay. I know that sometimes you feel like you're putting a lot of effort with asking, and maybe you're not seeing the results. When you keep going, that's when things are going to change. That's when you're going to see, right? That's when you're going to see people start answering you. I mean, let's be honest, I'm getting ghosted a lot. I have sponsored this month. I have a few reinstates this month, which I'll talk about later. But one of the things I do pride myself on as a leader is that the people that I do have join, I have a very high success rate with Shooting Star and Sensational Star. Okay. Because I think come here. You're going to do this again tonight? Super important that you lead and that you're there and you're not just sponsoring people and leaving them to be. So the first thing I'm going to do is not that. I'm going to share my screen because I want y'all to watch this video. It was like perfect timing this morning that it came up. This is Bob Heilig, I think is how you say it. He's on Instagram. I share his stuff a lot. He makes a lot of good points, but I just want to watch this it's like 10 seconds. Watch this video.
And actually make something of it.
Yep, that's not it. Ready?
It's not your job to make people successful. It's their job to make themselves successful. Your job is you are the guide. You are the person that provides the opportunity. You are the person that gets them headed in the right direction with all the system, tools, and support. You are the one that's there to encourage them along the way, to provide them that direction. But at the end of the day, they have to do the work. It's their job to take everything that they have and actually make something of it.
So right away, blaming the individual for not working hard enough. It's like, I've supplied you with all the information. I've supplied you with the tools and the systems. Why are you not successful? Yet, what was it? 2-3 minutes ago, she herself said, I know it's hard out there. I know people are ghosting you. I know it's difficult. It's like, well, yeah, it's hard to recruit people into an MLM. It's not their lack of trying. It's not their lack of using your systems improperly. It's the system itself. It's a system of the MLM, the pyramid scheme system, that is flawed, not the individuals.
Okay, so I think that is very simple, but it's very important. His words really hit me, and it's good to hear my thoughts through someone else that I'm not directly linked to, because it's so important. Because as leaders, like I said, we should be leading, we should be guiding, we should be doing all these things. But in the end, these people have to do the work to be successful. Just because you've sponsored a ton of people and they aren't successful, that is not a reflection of you. And when you start believing that, things will start changing in your mind. Now,
right, but then that gets, I mean, I appreciate her saying that. That is putting not the blame on the individual, but it is also putting the blame on the people below you. I get that. I mean, there's obviously going to be blame somewhere that's never on the MLM itself, which is the thing to blame, because they make all these promises that are just impossible to keep. They just can't keep these promises that they're making, that everybody can be successful if you just follow the systems. Because people are following the systems and they're not making any money. So that is definitely a big, massive part of it. And also, like, then what do you want them to do with their new teammates? Like, what do you want them to do with their downlines? Like, it's like, oh, it's their fault for not being successful, yet it's your job to guide and steer people the right way. But of course, like, everybody can't be successful, so then the next thing that they're supposed to do is like, oh, just keep finding more people. Like, that's the answer. It's like, oh, those people just weren't successful because it's on them, so you just have to keep getting out there and finding more and more and more and more people, because eventually some of those people will continue on and actually care and actually be successful, because it's all about the people, not about the horrible, crappy systems.
why do I say that? Because if someone really wants to be successful in this business, they will be successful. They have
Okay. It's like, I can get on board with like certain things, but it's like, that is not true. That is putting 100% of the blame on the person. It's like, they are not successful because they don't want to be. But yet, in order for you yourself in the MLM to be successful, you need people below you to also be recruiting and purchasing product. So when people aren't doing that, how is that you not trying? You have gotten people involved, you have gotten people to buy here and there, and you have gotten a decent amount of people underneath you to recruit more people, but yet you're still not the level of success that you need to be, the rank that you need to be to see sort of livable income. You are trying. You are trying really, really hard, and it has nothing to do with not trying, because you obviously are, yet you're still not seeing the level of success that you need. And it has nothing to do with people below you not wanting it also, because most of them join wanting this. They believe the dream. They believe the opportunity is real. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They believe that. That's why they probably joined to begin with. So to say they don't want it is not true.
everything at their fingertips that they need in that workstation. Scentsy built it that way for a reason, right? A lot of times people come to me and say, I'm sponsoring all these people, but no one's hitting shooting star. No one's hitting sensational star. They're ghosting me. Okay. And that's when I think we do need to have a little bit of self-reflection on how we're sponsoring people. Are we saying things like, are we starting the conversation with things like just get paid off your purchase? You can't expect to sponsor someone who's just getting paid off their purchase and then have them hit the ground running as soon as they get going, right? Because they told you in the beginning, this is what I'm joining for. Now, will those things maybe switch, or maybe they'll light a fire and eventually they'll come back and be amazing? Absolutely. But we have to have no expectations of people when they start, because I have learned that the people that I do have high expectations for, they just don't want it. And the people that I don't have expectations for, they're the ones who are killing it. They're the ones who are hitting director. Those are the ones showing up to the meetings. Those are the ones who are sharing.
What I'm getting from this is just keep recruiting, just keep recruiting, just keep recruiting. because you never know. You might have high expectations on 3 people and they don't do anything, and then one person you didn't expect does, so you need more of those unexpected people. So just keep recruiting constantly, which, I mean, it's something we know, but how they don't see it or care to see it, it's like, that's what she's saying, is that even if you are doing well and you have a lot of people underneath you, if those people aren't doing anything, then you aren't going to make any money. So you are dependent on the people below you doing work in order for you to make money. How it's all about you, how it's your business, how it's all of that, how your success is based off of you, this is proving that it's not.
All the time, right? So their success is not a reflection of you as their leader, because if they wanted to be successful, they would. Now, there are a few things that I do to help these people, and I do encourage them. And sometimes people may not think about doing some of these things when they have someone join. So the first thing I do is I send everyone a welcome email, whether they are my frontline or whether I am their director. Now, if you're a director, you should be sending welcome emails, because you get an email every time someone joins your team. So you know every single person. As a leader, you don't get those emails. If you lose your title as a director and you get a superstar consultant, you're not getting those emails anymore because you're not the director, right? And that's a huge part. I talked about that yesterday.
Shouldn't it be that, like, when people join their team in general, that they get a notification like, hey, blah blah blah's joined your team, and then a bunch of people can email them welcoming them, make them feel special, or maybe overwhelmed, which would be me if I got like a bunch of people messaging me telling me, welcome, oh my god, you're gonna love this, it's gonna be the best. But it's weird, like, when you derank, which is not your fault most of the time, like, I mean, I guess if you don't sell anything, like, I guess you know, if you don't get any personal sales, like, I guess it can affect you. But it's like, if a bunch of people leave underneath you because they don't believe in the business and they're choosing to not be successful, you are then punished for that, and you now no longer get certain privileged emails about who joins your business. Seems weird. I don't know. I didn't know about that. I think that's honestly kind of dumb, that, like, you lose the ability to see who joins underneath you when you derank one rank. I don't know. And it's funny to be like, you have to be a director to see emails, but being a leader, nope, no emails for you.
Because it's like, you literally have to check the workstation to see, oh, I have one more teamie. Who is that? Let me go see, right? As a director, you know, it is set up for you to literally click their email to email them. So if you personally sponsor them, same thing. Click that email and send them a welcome email. Mine is very short and sweet. Y'all know I like it simple. And then I just put my new consultant launch in there. You're sending it to them, and that's awesome for them. But this gives you a little bit more accountability to be like, did I talk to her about going live with her starter kit? And instead of having to go through your messages, yes, I did. I've talked to everyone who joined this week about going live with their starter kit. So
Seems kind of weird. Like, you get a starter kit and it's like, if you're somebody that's never gone live on your social media, like, to all of a sudden go live to, like, just your friends and family, like, I think that'd be really awkward. Like, I would feel so uncomfortable doing that.
Yes. Okay. So after we get through that in the first few days, okay, again, we're going to challenge them to go live with their kit. It's scary. Yes. And be relatable. And like, I know it's scary. I know it's nerve wracking. Do it with your kids if you have to. Be silly, whatever you have to do to get through it. But it is an important step.
Why?
And I have personally seen my consultants who are willing to go live with their kit are 9 times out of 10 more successful than my ones who refuse. Okay. And that's going to really show you who's going to be up for a challenge, who kind of wants it right out the get-go. So you can really make sure you're pouring into the right people. Of course, later down the road, it can change. They can be on fire for this business. Like, that was me. I get it. But for the most part, it's people who want it are going to show you they want it. So pay attention to that, but challenge them and just see what they're willing to do. Okay. I have even told someone before, you don't even have to go live. If that really freaks you out, just do a video, record yourself. Don't watch it back. Record yourself and then upload it and shout out that you're a Scentsy person. Okay.
Why would you not watch it back? What's the problem with watching it back? Like, what's the problem with like filming a video, editing it, maybe making it sound like a little more natural and like doing a couple takes and then like posting it on YouTube or Instagram or wherever you were gonna post it? What is the problem with looking back at it? That's an interesting comment.
So work with them. Don't be a jerk about it. But we do want to challenge our people and not with like silly little challenges. We want challenges that are going to actually grow them from the start.
To be honest, going live to talk about your starter kit sounds like a silly challenge to me.
Right? Another thing, challenge them with booking 2 parties from their launch party, okay? Have them go through and message their guests. This is, I feel like, a hump that people have to get over. One of my newest girls, I was like, hey, you need to go and just message everybody and just say, hey, just want to let you know this is what I'm doing. You're in my party. Have you had a chance to look around? And she's like, okay, done. And she did it, and she booked parties from it, and she got a new teamie, and she's working on her second, and she's been a consultant for exactly a month. Like, that's amazing. But she was accepting of the little challenges right away, okay? And they're going to be, when you see that you can do something, remember that easy +1, when you see that you can do something, you're going to be more likely to try to step a little bit outside of your comfort zone. So they can try to get 2 friends or family members to say yes to party. That is going to set them off, 1, expanding their network, but it's also going to build that confidence. Okay.
How is that going to expand their network when they already know these people?
If your confidence is built, you're going to accept harder challenges and be willing to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit more. Another thing, keep up with their milestones. Just like I said, she's got a new consultant checklist. Keep up with their milestone, recognize the work. It should not be them coming and telling you, okay, unless it's first thing in the morning, because that's my one of my girls. First thing in the morning, she's very excited, which was great. But I was like, girl, I'm not even awake. And she was like, I did it. Okay, which is amazing and awesome. And I'm going to make her feel like she is the coolest person, the best person, the hardest working consultant in the world, because she.
But I guarantee she's going to say a but at the end of this.
Deserves that. All right. That's what we had when we were coming in. And if you didn't have that, then you definitely want to be the sponsor that does that for your people. Hype them up. Okay. I'm always humbled when I get a message that says, no one has told me that they're proud of me this week.
I'm surprised she didn't say, but try and do it for a time that is like reasonable for your upline if you are going to do that, or for your downline. Like, I don't know, if somebody's coming to you, like, I get being like, I don't know. Why are you going to complain about that on the live? Like, maybe that person's there. Maybe that person is going to watch this and then feel kind of bad. It's like, oh, I thought I was just really excited and I wanted to share it with someone that I thought we were part of a team, we were part of a family, we were part of a community. But then to be like, oh, she's so sweet. But like, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you talking to your teammates like this? Like, never say anything negative about them. Like, that's very rude to do.
Thank you so much for your shout out email. Like, what? Man, okay, we're adults. People don't hear that very often. Hype them up. Be their hype man, woman, person. Okay. Recognize the word. Next, once they hit certified, okay, that's when you kind of get to back off. And I even tell my people, I will sit here and I will answer you for the most part whenever you message me for the first few weeks of your business. And then there comes a cutoff time. You got to spread your wings, baby. You got to go. Got to fly. Can't be messaging me all the time and expect me to answer. Okay. Because I've pretty much covered everything. By the time they've hit certified, within their 70 days, everything's covered. Like, there's not much for me to do and message them every single day. I don't need to be on them. So kind of back off. Okay. Of course you're still available, but a little bit more in the background, right? I was talking to the girl who was doing my cool sculpting today, and she was saying, as your kids get older, your life should be getting, you're still worrying, but it should be getting easier because they have more responsibility, right? And you should be able to.
The people who are in your downline, who are the ones supporting you, are not children. You are now going to compare people who have paid a starter kit cost, who are willing to do all the crap they have to do in order to keep you at the rank that you're at. You're going to compare them to children. That's so nice.
Okay, here, go do the laundry, go do the dishes, and you should know that it's going to get done, and it makes you as a parent, your life easier. If you're not there yet, it's amazing. Let me just give you that. Okay, hang in there. It's going to be so good, I promise. All right, but it's the same thing with your consultants. We're going to handhold, and then we're going to start backing off, and we're going to let them ride their bike and let go of the training, let go of the back. They have the training wheels on. Then you're chasing them. It's the same type of thing, step by step. You're backing off slowly. Okay. And once they've earned their shooting star, that's when we hit the next goal. That's when we focus on sensational star. You've got to take it step by step by step. Otherwise, you will lose people. Okay. So we're going to talk about sensational star, how to get there, know their goals. Okay. One of my girl who just hit lead, she said, I want to make sure I hit sensational start level 3. And I said, okay, well, what's your plan? Do you have a plan? You want to do it just PRV, or are you going to try to sponsor? And she's like, I'm going to try to sponsor. Okay. So now we get to talk a little bit about leadership, right? But I'm not going to go ham talking about leadership if that girl doesn't want to do leadership. That would scare her away, right? I'm not going to push. It's her business. She's independent consultant. I'm not pushing her into something she doesn't want to do. It will bite you in the long run. Trust me. Okay. So learn from my mistakes. All right. Yes. Do not push them into something they don't want to do. All right. But let them know.
But yet, when they first join, one of the things they have to do is go live, because you want to push them out of their comfort zone and you want to get more eyes on them, and you feel like that's a good way to do that so that they can hopefully get people underneath them, which then just boosts you and gives you more money.
That if they change their mind, they can always come back to you. Okay. And vice versa. If they change their mind, they can always take a non-leadership role, because you would rather them realize that sooner rather than later. Okay. My newest teamies, I've been asking them, like, when it comes to your business, how much do you think that you're willing to put into it, and giving them a realistic view. I do not want people buying the most first thing. Okay. I don't want that. I would rather you say, you know, I'm balling on a budget, and this $25 join kit was enough. Like, I can't go outside. Okay. So when you get a chance to put money back into your business, I want you to get the whiff box, because then you can try extra things. Then you still get a bar to sample out to people. Okay. But that's the best bang for your buck. So I want to be able to meet them where they're at.
Maybe be really polite and say, you know what, since you don't have any money, clearly, like, this is probably not the thing for you, because you're going to have to spend quite a bit of money in order to be in this business. Be realistic, be honest, and be respectful towards the people that don't have any money, instead of using them and taking advantage of them and potentially putting them in debt, harming them in, a financial way. Maybe they're not paying their phone bill, maybe they're not buying groceries, I don't know what the case may be, because they're hoping that they can make that money back in a month, 2 months, and that everything's going to be okay, because that's what the opportunity call made it out to be.
Not make them feel like I have to get this $100 kit. Oh my gosh. Then she also wants me to make sure I'm using my own stuff. Okay. Level with them. So I've been really serious about that, because I have all kinds of different walks of life when they join. I don't know their financial situation, but I want them to see that this business isn't going to drain their account, that they're going to use Scentsy money for Scentsy things, and we're going to build it up. That's like, I want them to see that. I don't want them to be like, they took all my money and yeah. Okay. So yes, again, talking to them about Scentsy money is going to be spent, right, in certain ways, not your family money. They should not be having a whole crap ton of stock. That's also something that I'm really serious about with my new consultants. And I try to show them, this is what I did when I first joined. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't cute. Okay. Had a little felt sheet from Walmart that's 88 cents with my little jewelry store bags. Katrina is actually the one who was like, it's in this aisle at Fort Stewart. It's in this aisle. Go get this jewelry store bag. Cut felt. My kids would cut. It was ugly. I dip it real quick from my tester. Like, y'all, it was not fancy. Put it in a bag, put it in my dollar store envelope, and say, here you go. I really hope you like this sample of black raspberry vanilla. It wasn't cute. There was no fancy label. It wasn't nothing. Okay. But they got the sense in their hands. And that's how I want people to start. I don't want them to start thinking they have to do all of the things. All right. So Another thing to push them towards is classes in session. It's replacing Guide to Growth because it is shorter. Okay, that's the first, it's a lot shorter, but it also is updated because when we did, or when, not me, I wasn't a part of that. When they did Guide to Growth, there are certain things that don't really apply to our business right now in the non-hyper growth stage that we're in. So push them towards class in session. Okay, that's like the new holy grail. And then also showing them the ladder of success. We have really great examples. There's different versions on the leaders page. Show them that. Explain to them what it means to focus on your business first, your PRV. Then we're going to take a step up if you want to focus on sponsoring. Then we're going to take a step up, because people get it twisted and focus on the wrong things so easily in this business. There is.
But it's their business, and you said that. So why can't they focus on what they want? You're telling them they're doing their own business wrong. It's weird, because like when you actually have your own business, you don't have someone telling you that it's wrong. How interesting.
A hierarchy to how we should be working our business, okay? And where our focus should be to be successful. So make sure you're sharing that. Make sure you talk to them about the news tab, where they get their information. The quicker you can point your people back to the workstation, the less they will ask you ridiculous questions. Like, what is my login? You have been a consultant for 2 years. Why do you not know your login? I don't understand. Why are we asking you this? Okay, that's a problem. That is a problem, my friend. All right. So the quicker you can push them, not to be nasty, but you know what? I'm actually doing this and this. Can you see if you can search it for on your workstation? It does not have to be rude, but you want to push them towards that workstation. They're an independent consultant. Okay. I think I was talking to someone today and they said, oh my gosh, they posted something and someone asked a question about the actual words that were in the picture. And they're like, you gotta read the picture. It's important. Gotta read, right? Apply it. Important things. Okay. Gotta do that. We're adults. All right. Talk to them about compliance. Make it not scary. That is one of the biggest things. Make it not scary. If they're not being shady, they don't have to be scared. My dad used to say that to me all the time. If you're not being shady, you got nothing to fear. What are you fearing? Because you know you're shady. Okay. So if they're on the up and up and it's a simple mistake, it's fine. If they're shady, they're shady. They got to get rolled up. Okay. That's a whole different ballgame. All right. All right. So let them know that they can message compliance with questions. That's also another, when people ask me, y'all, I'm a reader to an extent, but I do not know all the ins and outs. I don't remember them. So if they ask me something and I don't know, you know what, why don't you email compliance? And when you find the answer, bring it back to the team page so we can all learn together. Okay, look at that. We just showed them how to show on the team page.
I understand the logic, but also like I don't blame them for reaching out to you, who claims to be the upline. I don't know what rank she is, but I feel like she's decently up there. So like, this is the person that supposedly has all the answers, and then their thing is like, oh, email corporate, because corporate would have all the answers. They're just an everyday person claiming this to be their own business.
But people don't know that we have a consultant store with Scentsy branded stuff. And that's really exciting, especially when you're brand new. And then the last thing I have, again, we're just going to reiterate this, making sure they can find things on their own. Make sure they know how to search on the team page, okay? Even if you want to do a screen recording of, hey, did you know this is what you look for on the team page? I actually thought about that today when I was in Walmart. Almost being taken. It's a whole nother story, but it's fine. I survived. Anyways, okay, they are a true independent consultant, and we need to make sure that they understand that. You are not their boss. You understand that, right? You need to make sure they understand.
No, they are technically your boss, but yet you claim in these opportunity calls like, we'll be there for you, we're always together, companionship and whatnot, and friendship and family, and you know, I'm there to answer all your questions. But again, in an MLM, there's always an asterisk. It's like, I'm willing to answer your questions for like a few days, and then you need to watch these videos, and then, you know, I'll explain a few more things, and then after that, like, I'm going to be kind of rude to you. I'm going to kind of talk down to you. I'm going to not answer your questions. I'm going to be condescending when I send you the answers. Like, come on. They don't understand, because this crap, it can be confusing, and it is.
And that this is their business on their terms. You just give the tools. You cannot make a horse drink the water, whatever, lead it through the storm.
True.
Yep. Don't remember that one, but you know what I mean. Okay, that's all I got for you guys.
Yes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That is the quote. And all of that is within their first 70 days. So that's a lot of information, right? But that is what we have found to be helpful to our brand new teenies. And
so you're not their boss. This is their business, but yet you bombard them with all this information in the first 2 months of their business, but yet they do this on their own time, and this is all on them, and you're not there to lead their way. It doesn't make any sense.
And like I said at the beginning, you can sponsor all the people in the world, and that's awesome. And you can't put that on yourself, right? We can't say, oh, they're not successful because of me, but you do need to be there and have the time, let's be completely honest, to help these people with their questions, to encourage them, to show them, to give them resources, to all those things that Bob said at the beginning, right? But yeah, don't look over those real estate. So we are not just sponsoring this month, but in Simply Grace and Grit group, family, all of the things, we encourage that our leaders lead and that we do show up for our people. And Poppy, and that we give them and offer them the resources. Again, it's up to them if they use them. So we'll go ahead and, do you have anything else before I stop the recording? Nope. All righty, guys.
Bye, Scentsy ladies. She didn't say bye to me. You guys know I don't like that. So, what an interesting thing to have the first woman basically say, like, hey, people are gonna ask you dumb questions, like, just be nice to them, I know how annoying it can be, and, like, lead them to where, like, they don't ask you questions, because, like, we give you guys all the answers, and then to end the call and be like, we are a team, we are a family, we are just here to answer questions. It is confusing. The contradictions, I mean, it's an MLM, we know they are all about contradictions, and it is confusing. No wonder people are confused. I mean, it's like, I'm told that I can ask questions all the time, but yet the answers I can find on my own. I just don't, I don't quite understand what the purpose of the call was. I mean, I guess it was like, hey, if you're a new leader now, like, here's what you need to do for your new teammates, but yet this is their own business and you can't control what they do and they're going to do it on their own. So spend a bunch of time for 2 months with each individual person, and you're supposed to be continuously getting new people, because again, if they don't do the things, that's not on you, that's on them, but just keep getting more people and keep going through this roundabout exhausting thing over and over and over again. Like, that's the thing about MLMs, is that it is just a constant merry-go-round. You are doing the same thing, saying the same things over and over and over again to whatever ears will listen to you, and it's too much. It's exhausting. Like, why would anybody want to do that? And I understand that that is how jobs are. Jobs are very, like, it's the same thing, you know what you're doing, but at least you get actually paid for that versus doing all of this work for free, hoping that the next new person who joins will then take over and do it as well, and so on and so forth, so that you can make the money. If people got paid for the hard work that they do in MLMs, wouldn't have an issue with that. But for them to get paid for this exhausting merry-go-round nonsense that they have to spew to every single new person, that's how they get paid, is by spewing the nonsense and convincing the next person to also spew the nonsense. Get on the ride as well. Alright, you guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really, really liked it, please subscribe. Let's talk anything and everything Scentsy in the comments below. And until my next video, I will see you guys then. Bye!